and welcome to the Ramon Foster Show, which will be operating under a constant anvil hanging over our heads with the pressure that comes with producing this program every day. I don't know how you deal with it, Mon.
You know what, man, DK? It's for the people, okay? It's for the people. Stiller Nation's for you, baby.
It's a sacrifice you're making, Mon.
It's all good, man. This is what we do.
Number one subject among those people that you're describing just happens to be the quarterback. And that's pretty much par for the course in any city that you go to that has an NFL franchise. This one is a little bit different.
Yeah.
In the sense that we haven't had one of these in like 20 years. Yeah. And with Kenny Pickett, there's a part of me that feels like, Moan, that if he'd come out 2-3 weeks ago and just had an eruption of a game, you know what I'm talking about, a 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you'd have everyone, he'd have everybody eaten out of his hand just the way he did when he came into the line, right?
Yeah.
But there hasn't been that, even though he's, he had his moments along the way, including winning the game against the Saints and looking a lot better in the second half, squeaking in for a touchdown and everything. This is now, I get the feeling that the nation as a whole is just waiting for, come on, give us something here. Give us something we can hang on to,
Yeah.
Show us that you're the guy. Is he the guy, Moan?
Man, DK, I have that question asked to me all the time. Here in Tennessee, there's a huge presence of Steeler Nation here, or social media, or doing interviews too, on, just anywhere. Is Kenny Pickett the guy? And that can go so far in depth too, DK, as far as like, what's the guy? What are we looking for when you say, is he the guy? Because truthfully, every franchise is looking for the guy. And as we can tell, franchise after franchise sometimes seem to miss, and they miss again, and then they miss again. I'll say this, and maybe this is just me being a cocky Pittsburgh Ginzer, okay? Let me just throw that out there. I don't think Pittsburgh is a city, man, that chases the guy year in and year out. Is that fair to say a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They're more strategic than most when it comes to that position. And I know, of course, you have a couple guys, but even think about those guys. Cordell was a guy for a little while, right? You know what I'm saying? Going so far as the backups. Ben has kind of had us for the last 20 years, but making the decision to go get him. Who go gets a guy out of Miami of Ohio? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying as far as going to get the guy. I feel like Pittsburgh is a little bit smarter than most when it comes down to going to go get this dude at quarterback. And this is where I'm at with Kenny. I think Kenny's very capable. I think Kenny's in a position to where everything that the modern quarterback is doing, he does. As far as being able to run the ball, as far as being able to spin the ball through there, his completion percentage is at almost 67%. That's pretty good. Whether it be dinking and dunking or whatever you want to say, his biggest issue is INTs. Okay? Cleaning that up, and we saw growth in that in this last game. Simply chucking the ball away, man. Damn that doggone percentage. Chuck it away. Be smart with the ball. You can't help us win if you are throwing the ball to the other team. That's a step right there. If we saw that, DK, with the step that he made with throwing the ball away, stopping the interceptions, not being, again, what did we say earlier this year or about a few weeks ago? Look, we need you to do Superman-like things, but we don't need you to be Superman. Okay, leave the cape in the back. Just lift the car when we ask you to and just walk away. We don't need anything other than that. And that's where I'm at when it comes down to Kenny Pickett. Is he the guy that kind of leads you to a Super Bowl? Well, I'm going to go this route, DK, and I know you don't like this one, but quarterbacks that win Super Bowls, man, they're paired. And you know where I'm going. They're paired with a guy that knows them. They have a head coach that support them. They have an offensive coordinator that's paired with them, DK. I don't know if we're there for what Kenny's skill set is. Maybe removing the guy, and I can't overstate that enough, simplifies this a little bit for a young rookie coming into this league as a starter. I do think it was a lot on his plate to try to give the ball to Chase, to George, to Pat, to Deontay, to friggin' Najee. That may be one of the reasons why Najee was the leading receiver on this team. Because of, look, it's simple to find him. Hey, I got him. I got 4 guys downfield, so let me just dump it off to the guy that's closest to me. That's where I'm at when I say he's got to be paired with the right guy to not overcomplicate this process of learning what the NFL is, learning how to operate an offense, what's a win in this league, and what's a true loss. And I don't think, he's fully gotten that so far. He has taken some steps. To win the Super Bowl, DK, heck, I played in one and lost that one, and then forever chased it years after that. That is a hard task. That ain't just the quarterback. That's also the defense. That's special teams. That's making field goals when you need it. Is he capable of playing his part? Potentially being one of those guys that get 340 yards passing in the game? Yeah, I'll ride with that one, man. Probably more consistent than ever. He'd probably be a 275, 295 a game type of guy. That's a win in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the idea, and this I've heard more in the past 48 hours than I had all season long as it relates to Kenny, is now all of a sudden the expectation is, well, is he that guy who I can envision winning the Super Bowl in Pittsburgh? Well, okay. Everyone just wanted him to start about a month and a half ago. Okay, and now we want him to be Joe Montana. And it's like there's a bridge there that has to be crossed. Okay, he's going to have his scenes like what we saw against New Orleans. You mentioned the 6 times he threw the ball away, and he threw it away willfully. It wasn't like, remember the one that he got in trouble with? When he threw the Freiermuth and ended up being an interception and cost the team the game. Now where's he throwing it? 10th row.
Yeah.
He's throwing
get a souvenir.
To the hot dog vendor right in the upper deck. Whatever it is, get it out of there.
Yeah.
That's a small step and a very decidedly non-sexy step, but it had to take place. And there's a reason that everyone that I talked to after the game Sunday at the stadium was focusing on that, including Kenny himself, was, listen, hey, 0 INTs. Okay.
Yeah.
If you ask yourself what made for Jalen Hurts' next step of his evolution in Philadelphia, what was it? He just became crazy bleeping responsible with the football, right? Am I right?
Yes, man. And that's all we're looking for. He's a young guy in this league. If you've been around your kids and teaching them small things in sports, you tell them, no. We're not throwing the curveball right now. Just throw the ball straight. Right? Look, I don't need you catching the ball with one hand. We gonna catch it with 2 hands first. Okay? Hey, listen to me. We're not dunking at 5-year-olds. Okay? Simply make a layup. That's basically where we're at with Kenny. It's, look, one step at a time. I think we forget sometimes how much goes on the plate of a young dude that inherits basically an entire franchise. He took a step, DK. I'll take that one for right now.
When we come back on the Ramon Foster Show, 5 minutes of endless loop footage of 5-year-olds dunking. Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show, and continuing our discussion of Kenny Pickett, but maybe broadening it a little bit too to include the overall scene in which he operates. Quarterbacks are different in terms of the way they're evaluated. It's not just how they did that Sunday. It's not just how they're doing within the league overall. It's also how they do against their class, their peers. Now, Kenny's in a bit of a different bracket for the 2022 class because he was obviously the first quarterback taken. But you could still throw him into a group of other guys here, Ramon. And how do you think that's going to play out over the years to come?
But I think this is very important. Yeah. I think this is very important too, because Ben was judged by a group of guys that he came in maybe a year or two before him and some after him too. Ben's era was Ben, Eli, Brady, Phillip, Drew Brees, just to name a few.
Rodgers to an extent. Yeah.
Rodgers also. And you look at those dudes and you say, man, every single one of them got a ring except Phillip. You know what I'm saying? And now every single one of those guys except for Tom and Aaron Rodgers have kind of phased out of this league in a sense. But truthfully, I felt Peyton probably was in that one too. All of them were probably judged by their rings, right?
Right.
They were all
to
judged
an extent. Yeah.
Well, Phillip for sure, I feel like was chasing his when he went to the Colts, and they just couldn't get it together in San Diego at the time. But you say to yourself, he was good enough. So that's what we're speaking about with Kenny too. Is he good enough? And where is he going to last with this new group of guys that are coming in? And let me, y'all in the comments for sure, definitely comment back and let us know. I think his group is DK, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, and Joe Burrow. Maybe one or two more. I don't know if Malik Willis is in this because I don't know if he's going to be a starter in this thing or not. But that group right there, I look at this new wave that's coming in that's probably got to keep the NFL afloat with quarterback play. Maybe Tua. You know, and I think of all of them except for Joe, he's probably been the most successful one so far. So Tua and Joe Burrow, for the most part, are the guys. Looking at Kenny, does he fit in that group with them? I'd say yes. What does that turn into? Well, he's got to face Lamar, who's an older guy in this league now. He's got to also face Deshaun eventually, and he got to face Joe. This could be, if Kenny Pickett's not the guy, probably one of the hardest conferences when it comes down to quarterback play just in general for the next few years. And he has to, DK, for the sake of this franchise, really improve from year one to year two. Making the playoffs, whatever. It's a wash in a sense. I love to watch this team make the playoffs. But this year one to year jump and moving forward for a guy like Kenny Pickett has to be one of the best ones we've ever seen. I don't want to compare it to what Josh Allen's kind of turned into, but we need to see a lot of that from year one to year two as far as just overall play and elevation of your player, of your teammates that you're playing with.
I'm going to throw my own perspective at you on this one. And it's not going to be league-wide, and it's not going to be historical, and it's not going to be generational or anything like that. Here's mine.
Okay.
If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to have the best quarterback in the AFC North. Okay, I want my quarterback to be able to walk into those three stadiums. This one's taken for granted. Those other three stadiums and say, our guy's here to play with your guy. I don't know which one's going to be the best today, okay, but I want Kenny Pickett to be able to take the field with confidence against Lamar Jackson, against Joe Burrow, against Deshaun Watson. And as I say all those names out loud, he sounds or feels like he would be the underdog in every one of those scenarios, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
So that's the bar for me that I keep. This is just for me. I keep that one in my head. I want to have the quarterback who can at least be on par with the other three quarterbacks in the AFC North. And to me, if you have that, you don't have to be Ben and go 502 against or whatever it is, 30-0 in Cleveland or anything like that. Yeah. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to take care of those 6 games. And if you have a quarterback who can handle the AFC North, you're going to be a successful football team.
Man, I feel like this is a conversation on top of a conversation for years to come.
I know,
DK.
It does. This is like a summer conversation.
Here I am looking at his peers, and I'm looking to. I forgot to look directly at his competition. You
right
know,
here.
like that's a hell of a like that measuring stick when it comes down to what's what and what's acceptable for Kenny Pickett moving forward, man. But this is the other part. It's uber important for this team to draft well moving forward. It's uber important for this team to hit free agency well at this point. Picking and choosing who you're going to choose to stick around your program. Re-signing guys, figuring out the cap. Because if Kenny's what we think he are, and I think the rest of these quarterbacks starting, well, heck, we started with Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? Like the management of the cap with what these quarterbacks are going to command if they do compete, DK. You know what I'm saying? If Kenny Pickett does prove to be the guy. But you're right. I thought for sure the AFC West was going to be this is going to be a big-time quarterback. And it's still turning to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't it?
I look at these 4 guys that are going to head the AFC North, and I say, goodness, this is as raw of a dogfight if you've ever seen in your entire life. If Kenny Pickett matures the way we think he is.
Nobody's putting Kenny. I'm not speaking for you, Moan. I'm not Kenny in any kind of bracket with anything. But I'll tell you what, this coming week.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about all the other matchups and hoping this guy's healthy and that guy's healthy and everything else here and revenge from the opener and whatever else. This is Kenny versus Burrow. It just is.
This is the start of it. And just to pull the curtains back a little bit, when new guys came to the North, Johnny Manziel, heck, even Lamar and Flacco, Ben made it a point to go ahead and say, all right, this is my opportunity. He never said it out loud, but there was no room for letting a young quarterback have airspace in the AFC North. You better be stingy. That's that competitive side that Ben carried with him, and he didn't have to say it. Yes, I whooped you. Go get another quarterback. You don't want them saying that about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's true. You wanted in particular to make sure that you kept Baltimore and Cincinnati's quarterbacks in check. So when the Bengals went out and they just kind of basically anointed Andy Dalton, their franchise quarterback, what ended up happening, the Steelers made it a focus to completely diffuse him. And by the way, that applies to this day. Lamar Jackson, the defense was designed, the one defense, you and I talk about it all the time, that other teams used as a blueprint to shut down the Ravens. Why? Again, you have to shut down their quarterback. Cleveland changed quarterbacks more often than they changed underwear, so it doesn't really matter. But even still,
Baker, though. Think about Baker. Baker was supposed to come steal the AFC North.
That's true. Yeah, and what happened to him?
He's in another city right now. That's important. DK, this is a heavy conversation, man.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. This is a good summertime one. File this one away. When we come back, the only segment that matters.
It's Hey Moan.
Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show and the only segment that matters. It's brought to you by the Get-Go Cafe and Market, where 3 expert chefs fine-tune every detail so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, app, and of course, above all, the Pilgrim are crafted for craveability. Order your favorite item at the Get-Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. Before we get to today's segment, Moan, I have to share, because I'm going to do this every once in a while, some of the stuff that we do off camera here. But as soon as that last segment got done, your eyes are like this. Be quiet, because I mentioned AFC North. Moan is like, he's like Bill Bixby turning into Lou Ferrigno, and he's getting all green, and he's must kill. Yeah. It's amazing the division, the impact the division has on you guys. It really does.
Man, it means so much. Like when Coach Tomlin drops that for the first time in the year, man, this AFC North ball. You're like, oh, yes, it is.
AFC North.
Chills. It's, to me, still by far the best. I do think the physicality in which the NFC West plays with, I think the Niners play very physical. I think the Rams have a very physical team. Looking at what Arizona has historically had, I don't think they have it defensively right now, but even also just Seattle. Very physical division. I always look at the AFC North like that too. Like it's has a reputation about this one.
Now this one is then you get into the individual stuff. We can talk about this later in the week, but I don't believe that. I don't know if you're going to have Minkah Fitzpatrick the week after appendicitis, but Minkah was the one that was running, wreaking havoc all over creation in the opener in Cincinnati and yelling at them and barking at them and saying afterward he doesn't like them. AFC North. See, I'm looking at your face. You're still, you're still down there looking for Geno Atkins right now. Where is he? Where is he?
And listen, Minkah wasn't even drafted in our division, and he gets it, man.
He's such a Steeler.
Oh,
he was a Steeler. He didn't know it. He was a Steeler when he was in Miami.
Worth every pick. You hear me? Every single pick and contract. That guy from you remember the Niners game, speaking of the NFC West?
Just like that. I was out there. And then Santa Clara, you're talking about, he was just magic. He just walked in the field. He didn't know the playbook. Nothing. No. And there's NFL Films had Tomlin mic'd up. And we'll get to the segment.
We'll get to the Hey Moan in a minute.
Yeah. So Tomlin is out there in the warm-ups doing that standard BSing with some other coach from the other team, whatever. And he's out there and he's talking to somebody from the Niners, and he goes, so, you guys seen our new safety? And the other guys, you can't hear him as clearly because he's not mic'd up. And then Tomlin says, I think we've got our guy for years to come. And I know you know what Minkah brought in terms of being a safety. That's not what he meant.
Man, listen to me. Yeah, no, and the thing about Minkah too, this is turned into a Hey Minkah segment, okay?
I like
but this is him understanding what Pittsburgh embodies, what the AFC North, and just what the play and presence mean. He's very Troy-like. and I'm not comparing him to Troy. No, But Minka, quiet, super chill, don't get too loud. But on game day, he is an out-of-body experience, man. Like, I've never seen it. Heck, I missed the fight from camp this past year when he piled on to somebody, man. Yeah, I heard about that one. But that's just him. Don't take no mess, and just driven like none other, man.
That might or might not have been a guy who recently was traded to the Bears.
All I know is
see, don't say you get nothing for watching the Ramon Foster show. I might or might not have been there.
They were very scarce in their conversation because that was a Mike Tyson.
I said it at the time. That was not normal football stuff.
Again, he don't bother nobody.
That was really something to light Bink up like that. All right. So anyway, now that I'm in trouble.
Look at you. Okay, here we go.
Pete Yadula comes at you with, hey, Moan, maybe this is or isn't in your wheelhouse, but I'll ask anyway. What is in Deontay Johnson's DNA that makes him turn around and run the wrong direction after making the catch? What kind of coaching leads to this? What is this? And then he says nice things about the show, too.
Oh, appreciate all the nice stuff you said, man. We saw that. This is what you call business decisions. This is a guy understanding what the business is. Deontay signed a short contract, man, when it comes to just longevity of his career in Pittsburgh. He is what you would call just borrowed time in a sense. He's going to make his plays stay relevant. But he's also just the safety aspect of it. There's Lockett in Seattle, does the exact same stuff when it comes to catching the ball. I used to be the most, what do you want to call it, bashful dude ever when it came down, DK. Man, don't run out of bounds. Give him deliver the boom right there. And then I learned, like, those guys at those positions, wide receivers, running backs, sometimes even tight ends, to where, okay, I can hit you and just deliver the boom in what you need me to, or I can, not have this hit and I already got all the yards I'm going to get anyway. Like, I used to have a problem with that, but the game has changed. These guys understand, look, as many hits as I take, I'm probably going to end up being out of the league if that's the case. Guys get older. Guys get smarter. That's why you sometimes hear that old saying that the league wants guys young and dumb. Why are they young and dumb? Because they'll do stupid stuff. Look at the way Najee runs right now. Najee is a very physical downhill back. There will become a point in which you'll see Najee probably getting down, running out of bounds. I get it. I understand what body preservation means. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a matter of how long can I last in this league sometimes. And Deontay going backward is hey, let me figure out where I'm at so I can get the safest amount of yards and get out of bounds. It sucks because did we even get that first down? We went from 2nd and 3, 3rd and 3, and I think we may have punted, if I'm not mistaken, on that drive. I'm with y'all, but as I've gotten older and understand what these guys think, I for a fan, I get why you hate it. As a player, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the healthy way to look at it. I mean, this is, this is a. We'll see.
So let me give you a scenario. I'm dealing with a guy. I'm not personally dead, but I know a situation in which a guy was declared. He had a concussion, right, on this particular team. Currently in the NFL right now.
Yes.
And right now they're facing a game week, right, on the short week. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy didn't come out of the game at all for a concussion, but afterwards he's on the injury report for having a concussion. So for the fan, I ask you, do you care about this guy continually playing with a concussion when you know that is a serious injury in the NFL? Or do you want to say, man, he's a tough guy? I'm thinking about that guy 15, 20 years from now that finished his game off and bashed his head against the wall when he probably should have pulled himself out probably by the third quarter. So which one do you want?
My thing with Deontay is less about, I don't know that he avoids contact as much as it is that he fancied himself the moment he was drafted, and what he was able to do in Toledo, which was Toledo, was he could go in any direction after catching the football and find grass and then just find more grass. And when he came to Pittsburgh And he and everybody else were familiar with AB being able to do that. The difference was AB had a level of elusiveness that can't be replicated. Okay. So AB would make that same maneuver. And he wouldn't do it every bleeping time like Deontay does.
Right.
But he would catch the ball. If he had to, if he thought it was to his benefit, he would turn, cycle it, and then find daylight. And then nobody was touching him.
Right.
So Deontay, in a lot of ways, to me, strikes me as being just not as good as he thinks he is. Okay.
I mean,
that sounds mean, but
yeah.
There are people who have a higher opinion of what they're capable of doing. And sometimes that can be a good thing in life. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be a positive because you could achieve things that maybe you otherwise couldn't have or wouldn't even have tried. Yeah. But in this specific case, somebody needs to just tell him, ixnay, okay? Enough. All right? You seen the screen grab of him facing that first down the other day? And there's just like, he's at the beach looking at the ocean, and he decides to run inland. Okay? Yeah. I mean, it was just so bad.
I saw it, man.
It was just awful.
In that sense, I can't defend it. That was a bad football decision to be made. But again, I say I more understand it now.
Yeah, it makes sense to some awkward interpretation.
Yeah, as we just spoke about the AFC North and how physical it was a second ago.
Yeah, run forward. Run forward. Yeah, let's do that. All right, Mo, let's do another one of these tomorrow.
All right, my brother.